Hello everyone and welcome to the Adobe Live Max 2025. I am Ros, I'm part of the Adobe Live team and I am absolutely chuffed to be here with Holly Rose Stones.
Thank
How are you today?
I'm very well. I'm so excited to be here as well.
Yeah, it's so great to have you. Northern girly on.
Yes. Repping the Northern.
So what are you going to be talking to us about today, and do you want to give a little bit of an introduction about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Holly Rose Stones and I am a self-portrait artist and I create huge sets in my studio. Here is the colour project which I'm working on at the moment. So I've done green, yellow, pink, blue and orange, and if you've watched any of my live streams before, you'll probably know all about this, but I'm actually working on the red project at the moment. So I'm in the studio, I document all of my builds. So this is kind of my Instagram, and I also do it on TikTok, of me building all my props in the studio, and just take you through the step-by-step and all my decision-making process.
And the excitement is palpable, can I say? I'm super excited for this from Caitlin. Hello from cool and sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Might need to explain what chuffed means. Means very happy. So everyone is coming in. Colorado, Barbados, Sweden. Lovely. Hello and welcome.
Thank you for joining. So we are going to be talking about all the new features in Photoshop today, and I'm going to just go back to my boards and just show you a little brief, and then we're going to get into it. So we're going to do mainly all about the harmonise feature in Photoshop, because that is something that I have probably wanted since I started editing in Photoshop, when we were doing all of the shadows ourselves, colouring in with all the brushes. Now it's just one click and it saves me so much time, and it's launched into Photoshop today. So I've been creating all my props in the studio, and then I decided I wanted to just do a little mini one, because I usually am working on a big scale. So I wanted to do a mini one and do some compositing for the project, but also because I wanted to test out the harmonise feature.
And what is compositing for anyone that doesn't know?
Yeah, I'm sure we all know. But compositing is bringing outside images or images that's not in the frame into the frame, and then editing it in to make it look like it's realistic. So I did a little project, and this is the reel that I posted yesterday. I just created a little set in the studio with loads of different red props. My project this time is a red project, which I'm obviously creating, and it's about food. So I wanted to do a little like still life, but I wanted to test the harmonise feature out by actually taking some images. So I did actually shoot quite a lot of it inside, as you can see there.
Stunning.
But I wanted to take some images of the props outside in a different lighting, and then bring them into the studio to see if I could harmonise it all together. It was kind of a little bit of a test to see what Photoshop's doing.
I like it.
And because obviously I've been editing shadows for years and years and years, so I just wanted to see like how it would live up to it, which it absolutely does.
And we do have a question about it. So do you need credits for harmonise?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, it is just...
Yeah, you go ahead.
In Photoshop.
Yes, it is in Photoshop, and I believe so. I'm not sure how many credits it is. Probably the same.
We can get some more moderators in the chat. You can drop some links in there.
So this was my before images of the set. I decided to do like a triptych, and then this was after. So this is the fully edited set of what I did in the studio, but we're going to do a little testing. So let me head to Photoshop, and I'm going to bring up some of my backdrops and the props. So we've got a backdrop here. I've left the backdrop and like just in its raw state currently, just because I kind of wanted to bring something in and see how it harmonised without actually doing all the editing of the background first. I just wanted, this is more for like the composition of the image. But I'm going to just test. So I brought in this little pot, which I photographed outside. I'm going to zoom in. So this is the little pot. And obviously you can see all the harsh lighting from the sun outside.
It's floating.
Yeah. And I'll just click on, all you have to do, it's literally this simple, is click on the image and click harmonise. And I've already done this, so if this doesn't work, we can just... Here's what I made earlier.
It's loading,
Yeah.
we're generating, harmonising.
So we're harmonising, and if it doesn't...
Edge of my seat here. And it is, I think for one harmonise, it is 5 standard credits.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Yes.
We appreciate that. There we go, and in that 5 harmonised standard credits, we've got this amazing...
It really does.
And actually, I've done a few of these. That one's actually pretty good. I mean, some of them, it's hit and miss, but I think it's mainly hit on this.
Quote that, mainly hit, harmonise.
So this is all the different harmonised. I'm actually going to just put on my other layer from earlier because I loved this one and that one. So it actually harmonises all the colours and tones, which is really impressive because I think, look, all that tone, if I just go before and after, I mean, it looks like it's there.
How long would it take you normally?
Probably would have taken me like 3 hours. I don't know. Depends how much of the shadows I wanted to put into it. But like, to be honest, I don't even think I would have been able to do that. I think it would have been too hard for me. So I think, you know, it's made my job easier.
It has changed your life.
Yeah, it literally has changed my life. So I'm going to just add in a couple more just to show you, because obviously we've got different props. So this is my crazy candlestick. And then I harmonised it. So all you have to do again is just click harmonise, which I'm not going to do because I've actually got one I made earlier, which is this one. Not much of a difference. But you can see the really subtle shadows. And actually, what I've been using it for and how I've been using it is gaining a like knowledge of how the shadow, like, how Photoshop portrays the shadow.
Yeah.
And if it needs editing, I can just edit around it, but it just gives me a starting point if it doesn't quite work. So I quite enjoy just adding in a little bit of extra shadow if I know where the shadow probably is going to lie.
And we do have a question about what are credits, and you can take that, or I can take that.
You can take that.
So credits are the monetary system in which you pay for the generation. So for a certain amount of money, you get a certain amount of credits, which is a certain amount of generative harmony. Yes, harmony. Yes, continue.
Thank you. So yeah, I have been playing with lots of different props, obviously, and I'm just gonna click the harmonise, boop, and then it literally looks like this. This is my favourite little champagne glass. I would obviously need to go in and edit all this because these are polystyrene balls which I painted, and that's obviously got a little bit of a mark on it. But I would go in now after and just do my little bit of retouch on the harmonised layer. Oh, sorry, you have to change it yet. So.
Oh, you're so rapid with it. Boop, boop, boop. And you do them individually rather than just going around the whole ball. You'd rather just have that creative control.
Yeah, I think for retouching like this, I just like to get rid of it myself. You know, like get rid of each individual. Depending, I mean, that's kind of like the meditation of editing for me. Is that I get lost in doing that kind of thing. So yeah, that was before and after. And let's go on to the next one. This is my little tooth vase. I don't know why I've got a tooth vase, but it's me. So I'm going to harmonise this one. This is actually my favourite, I think. So if we click harmonise.
Oh, it's like velvety.
Yeah. But I'm going to go on to the next one because I actually created a little landscape backdrop setup. Obviously, I was going to edit the sides off and maybe expand the frame. But I'm just going to show you how it works with like multiple props in one image. So if we click on this one, these are all harmonised together. So if I just remove them each an individual. So these have already been harmonised. I'll just put them back in. But what I like about this is that you can actually move the prop around. If I don't like that there, then I can move it around. If I just go on to the next one. So this is, let's zoom out. So if I harmonise that there like that, so that's now been harmonised.
It's so seamless.
Yeah.
It really is so harmonious.
Yeah, and then if I don't like the composition there, and if I'd spent hours creating and harmonising that prop to that section of the image, I would like be spitting, because I'd be like, I just want to move it like a little bit that way. So what I can do is just literally pick the prop up, move it, and press harmonise again.
It's amazing that you can do that. And have you found, we have some questions from the chat, so
yes,
have you found that when you're using harmonise, do you feel that there has been a drop in pixel quality?
I don't believe there has, but you can do generative upscale on, I believe you can on the harmonise layer.
Also a new feature as well. I can post some links in the chat there.
Yes, definitely, because that has been a lifesaver. Let me just click on. So if I just zoom in.
Shadows have been a singular pain for me when I do compositing. So that's good. I think everyone can
never
sleep
have
easy.
to do it again. But yeah, look, I don't know if you can see on the screen there. So that is the harmonise layer. That is the...
Oh.
I mean, look, I don't see much of drop in quality. But if you do click on... Oh,
because you have got these variations here. So when you're doing the harmonise, you can really just what is fitting best.
Which is fitting best, yeah. So like that one's really nice, but then it's that one's a bit nicer because it's a bit more red. But if I just go back to the original one there, because then I put in the bowl again, floating bowl. I love it. And then the tooth, which this is my favourite. I think this little tooth is my favourite because it's quite a dark prop, or the image was dark that I took. But that, I mean, look at this. Let me zoom in there. So that one's the before. Completely just cut out. In fact, let me just show you the cut out. Oh, I haven't got the background, but it's just cut out from an image outside.
So do you feel like when you're doing your shoots, you could potentially be slightly less precious, or if you were in a rush because you know that harmonise has got you?
Yes, and also I think you were going to ask me this question, and I'm just jumping the gun. But I actually thought about the answers. I'm going to ask you from you.
Backwards, yeah.
You were talking about mobile.
I was.
Yeah, and I actually thought about this, and I think if I was in the studio and I could quickly send like an image to my phone or take a picture on my phone and just harmonise it. Let's say I had my backdrop set up. Let me just go back to this.
I mean, for context, I will say we're talking about if you are a desktop creator or if you are using phones a lot, and we were saying we think there's different generations that do different things. And if anyone saw the keynote last night, I hope you did. We saw some great editing on phones and desktops. So obviously a harmonise is on phone as well. So we're thinking all these different ways that you would work.
Yeah, and how I'd use it will go from, because I'm a desktop girly. That's what we said.
Girly. DJ.
And but I mean, obviously I do edit on my phone, like videos, and I'm constantly filming and creating content. But yeah, so mobile, I actually think I would use it. Let's say if I had the backdrop set up here and I thought I just want to quickly take a picture of this prop, or I've got a prop that I've got from months ago, whatever, that I think it would go in here, then I could quickly just edit it on my phone. And I feel like I actually would do that just to visualise it before I then take the full edit into Photoshop. Because I obviously use AI now for like a lot of visualising and conceptualising. So I think I would definitely use this in the process of like like here I've even like quickly composited an image. I think I screenshot that just to show that I would put that on top. But I put that on top of this AI image, and it just, I think it's just the way my brain works. I just want a lot down.
You just want to visualise and explore, but not commit so much sometimes, not all the time.
That's exactly the right word, not commit to it. Because I think with editing, you really like, especially the let me just go back to this, especially like the compositing.
Sorry, it's very funny because we have Johnny Harville. Good to see your layer naming is as intricate as mine, and I feel like it's very beautiful. But continue. Sorry.
Well, this one isn't. I have actually made the mistake of opening this one first, because look at my layers. Wait, here.
It's absolutely amazing.
I even colour coordinated this for this.
No, don't say that. She does this every day.
Wait, I'm going to be using the new Photoshop, the helper, to say layer my... That was actually one of my things. Oh, sorry, rename my layers on web.
Yes.
Because that, in fact, hopefully that comes into the actual Photoshop.
Yeah, with the, for anyone that watched the keynote last night, you can also see this Photoshop assistant, all these different assistants that Adobe is launching, something to keep your eyes peeled for as well.
Yes, definitely. So I'm going to open up. Now we're talking about, in fact, let me go on this one because that's what we were talking about. So I'll zoom in on my little tooth vase. Oh, that is so satisfying to me. That's what I was going to say, is that like if I don't want to commit to it there, I can literally just unharmonise it, because you do keep that layer, your original layer, which is a cutout of the prop, and I could just move it over here, press harmonise, and in a moment's time,
holding breath, ready to be amazed.
I always wonder what everyone else does in this generating time, because I normally go on my phone straight away, and then sometimes I'm on there for 10 minutes and then I'm like, oops, yeah, that did that 10 minutes ago.
You could look away from the screen or do some squats.
Yeah. There we go. So look, that has just harmonised it. And it's obviously knowing or thinking that the light is coming from quite high up in this direction. So it's using its magical powers and creating the shadows that match these ones. So that's before and that's after. And you do get obviously the 3 options, but you can actually click generate again and it will continue to generate, obviously using your 5 credits.
How many on average, can I ask you, when you're doing the generations, is it always the first time, or do you normally do about 2 or 3?
I think I've thought about this recently. I usually do it either 1 or 2 times. I don't think it actually takes much more than that.
That's amazing,
so
isn't it?
Really, for your credits, I personally think that it gets it almost the first time.
Worth every credit.
Yeah, worth every credit. So if I zoom in. I mean, obviously this is with, I'm just experimenting here. This is just me experimenting. But I'm going to go onto my actual files and show you where I actually used it within. So these are all my props that I've sort of taken the background of.
Oh, we have another comment in here from Abdul Aziz, and he's saying, I think harmonise command requires real objects and not abstract, but would you consider kind of creating shapes in there, or as part of your practice you are more of a physical object girly?
Yeah, well, I'd say what does he mean by the real objects? Not abstract? Well, I don't know, because there's a giant tooth, red tooth. Is that abstract?
But it is a real object.
Yeah, it is a real object.
Very in the weeds.
Because I create with my hands in the studio. I mean, obviously, this is the things that I create. That is a giant telephone. I'll create a giant. So I like to create with a real object, but they are abstract real objects, really. But I was actually got an example of this, because when let me just go to this layer. No, not this one. This one. So I suppose, what does he mean by an abstract?
I think maybe something that wasn't an object. Maybe it's kind of if you'd taken maybe a 3D render or something else.
Yeah.
But it is a really
good question.
Also did have one from Mikey Bear. So you are reharmonising every time you're moving objects.
Yes, because obviously I'm moving it around the image. So if I go back to this layer, I mean, bearing in mind that this is lit by a huge octobox. In fact, if I go to, you can see a bit more where the light is landing, on the props there. So the light is coming from a certain angle, and it's obviously fixed. So I don't want to move, let's go back to that one. So if I move the tooth from here to here, it's going to be slightly different light, isn't it? Well,
these are the details,
And this is just where after compositing for so long, for so long, and doing this for 15 odd years, I already know that if I move the object, it needs to be a different light, which is why I like this harmonise feature, because if I'd spent hours creating shadows in one place, I wouldn't exactly. I mean, you probably could pick up all the group and move it.
So you're more limited.
Yeah, but it's more limited. So this obviously just solves that issue.
So do you feel like you just have so much more time now?
Yeah,
to focus?
I think actually, this has given me a way more time to look at how the composition of an image.
Yeah.
So like I can play around. I can play around with how it looks rather than like the end result.
Yeah.
Because as well, my art is kind of like, especially with these, I mean, I was playing around with the composition of, let me just have a look at this. Like where I wanted the spoon, where I wanted the knife, like this is the original image. The background actually was completely like this. So I then composited everything in from obviously in these studio images, and that's the end image. But like these were, I didn't actually harmonise these because I did shoot them in the studio, but I did harmonise the little balls here. So I do want to show you what I did here. So if I just go through my very nicely, neatly organised layers.
An inspiration.
So I've got the ball number 1 here. So this is the ball that I actually shot outside because you can see how light it is compared to the others. This is shot inside, so they have not even caught any of the light. Whereas this, you can see how much shadow is here on this side. So what I did was pretty much just brought it into where I wanted it. I think I actually even brought the other one into, that actually might have already been harmonised. I'm not sure where the after version of that is, but you can see I harmonised it. Let me just turn that one off. So in fact, we're going to duplicate this layer and we're going to recreate it. So I put one here. So if I just, play around with the composition. I knew I wanted two of the balls to like sort of look like they've been rolling off the plate a little bit. So I ended up just harmonising them both there. So if I just doobie-doobie-doo, generating
music, like a little dance. It is amazing. My mind is blown. I think it's going to totally change the way people use Photoshop as well. That was a question in there. Is this in Photoshop? And it's launched today. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So here we go. So we've got all of these different harmonizations. And what I like about this is that it does actually create a mask. So if I did want to, I could just go in with a brush on these masks. I'm just going to go in with a soft brush and go back, take myself back, before harmonise.
A sad time.
Yeah, and just do exactly what I would have done with the shadow then. And just maybe just like play around with the opacity of the layer. And just...
Wow, it's really a labour of love. And one wrong stroke and it's like, it looks fake. It doesn't look real.
So that's what I love about this. But what actually, you can... I think if I did click on the next layer... Yeah, so I think the mask actually is for each of these variations. Let me take that one off because I did actually get one that I really liked, which was this one.
I like it as well.
Yeah, because I think some like that with that one you could see. I'm not sure if you can see on your screens, but it's a little bit too matte. There's not enough like definition, but I like it because you can just then go in and add a bit more definition if you wanted to. But this one, I thought absolutely nailed it straight away. And if you can see, that was the first variation that I had ever off this ball.
5 credits only.
Yeah, 5 credits only. For yours for only 5 credits.
Naughty.
But yeah, so let me remove that ball there. Yeah. So that is how I added these 2 little balls at the front. I'm just going to take you to the final version of that, which was on my 5 boards, which I absolutely love using for visualising. When I was editing this all together, I created, every time I finished one of the images, I'd put it on the board, and then I could see them together, so I knew which order I wanted them in. Like, it's almost a little bit, and if you click on, where is it, artboard? Yeah, it creates an artboard, so you can visualize them like you're in a gallery, or I see how it would look on a wall as the triptych. So I'm gonna leave that like that. But yeah, I was just gonna
name your artboard.
Clearly not.
Sorry.
You can see when I got it. The Red Project.
Lovely.
There we go. Named live. So yeah, let me just zoom into this. So I think you can tell. I mean, sorry, you can't tell that these were added in later.
I personally don't think you can either, and I think the chat would agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we're saying in the chat.
We're saying all sorts of things. We're having, I bet Holly is the artist behind the cover of Russia's Hold Your Fire album.
Oh, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to have a look.
I'm going to check it out as well.
I would love to do some album artworks like that. I don't know what it looks like, but I would.
Put it out there.
Yeah. I'm manifesting.
Yes. And if you made a square digitally, could you harmonise it?
So, as in I suppose make a render, like
render. Yeah, I think
I've not tried that, but actually that's quite an interesting concept. I think maybe you should try it.
Great for report back.
Yeah. This is why I actually did the
Russia
all red.
Yes.
It's all red. Thanks, Tim. What was I going to say then? I was going to say. Anyway.
We've seen our artboards live in action. We are harmonising.
Okay, so what I was actually going to do, now we've harmonised. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I actually created pretty much, well, I was wanting to create a still life anyway. So I wanted to test it. So that's how
What does that mean for you to test it?
So I suppose it's more about experimenting, see how much I can push the software of Photoshop. See if I like in a real life setting, let's say I was working with a client or a brand, and I needed to add in an extra, I don't know. Well, let's say that I was working on this with a brand, and they said, "Oh, can you add in an extra prop?" Oh wait, we didn't capture that prop.
Nightmare.
Nightmare. I could take this home or have it at home and just take the photo of it and then harmonise it.
Put it in.
That's kind of how I saw this as like my way of experimenting, so that in the future that I can like add it to my
really
process.
Efficient workflow, save time, great result. That's not to love.
Exactly. So let's go on to, I want to just have a touch upon Nano Banana.
Yes.
And the new integrated AI in Photoshop, because that has actually just come out as well. So I think
third party moment for Adobe that you're in the Adobe universe, but you have access to third party models.
It's very exciting. And I do love that, like, the Nano Banana is in there, because I think that is probably the one that I turn to the most at the moment. I mean, I still do use Firefly, but it's nice to test. Again, I think with the credits, obviously, you can play around and experiment with them. So
and what works for you, it might be for different projects as well. And obviously with Firefly it is commercially safe, and
that's another thing.
And for third party it might be slightly different, but it is great just to have access to those.
And especially with this being a personal project, it was obviously I could use the Nano Banana for this. So I actually generated the background with, I think I actually might have done it with Firefly, if I'm honest, but essentially just I expanded the background. In fact, that was the first expansion, so all I did was pretty much just crop it above here, and then it created this little
That's amazing,
and I was like, oh, I do actually want this to expand to the edges, so I ended up adding a bit more on, and then I was like, no, it still needs to be wider. just zoom out. So all of you can see the expansions here.
How long can you spend on the edit with something like this?
So this probably, if I'm honest, probably would take me now like 2 or 3 hours, whereas actually probably would have took me, without all the tools that we have now, without all the AI tools that have been implemented, probably would took me like 10 hours.
Gosh,
so it's actually
big
halved
difference.
the time, and I know that I can get in more work, or sorry, I can experiment easier with it because it's not taking as long. And I think when you sat down for 10 hours, I mean, I don't know about you, but I get a bad back.
Yeah, I'm so Keely.
Yeah,
it's a Keely
yeah.
10 hours.
Like a quaver. So yeah, I prefer to be in the studio moving. I prefer to do like building the props. I just prefer to be in there. I'd rather be in there for 10 hours and being in my sort of meditative like state of creating. And I say editing does do that for me, but I just love tangible stuff as well. So yeah, so the generative AI. So pretty much all we do, and in fact, I'll just add in what I did. And I'm just going to show you what I would have done. So I as I was expanding this, I was looking for some imperfections, which you couldn't really see many, to be fair. But let's say I didn't like this piece of light here. I just went round an area, press generate, and then click on the firefly, so the FI icon next to it, and clicked on, we're going to do Gemini.
So you didn't even have to write a prompt or anything, you just like
Pretty much, I think, if I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
generated.
Yeah, it's amazing that I can just do that. I really noticed that.
Oh
no.
Maybe internet.
Classic Photoshop moment. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, no worries.
But you've got to trust me that these are the ones that I did earlier.
But that is great just to know that you have that power of selection, that if there is a moment that you don't like, that when you select it, you can then do it.
Open this a little bit more so you can see.
And it might not be available right now for you, but you know, at home you can also try that. Just select your model and generate.
Yes, exactly. We love live. But yeah, I actually added these in. In fact, if I just show you the end result. So I did edit the balls so they were all smooth. But if I go back to, I did harmonise these a little bit. But it didn't actually need that much harmonisation. So I actually might just move on to the next one because...
Yes, and do that. But just before that, we have another great comment of holy cow, if that's okay to say. Just now I noticed that you can colour code your layers. How did I ever notice that?
Do you want me
before?
to show you how? So I'm so proud of myself for doing this. I spent about 20 minutes doing this the other day to all my layers. So if you go to a group, well, to be fair, any layer, but it will group all the layers together in the same colour, and just press Control. And if you zoom right down to colour, there's your little labels.
Your rainbow.
So I love, obviously I've been working on the colour project, which is more of a rainbow colours, so I ended up just doing it in rainbow, just for my peace of mind, and just because it looks cute.
It's so lovely. And from Robert in the chat in BT, you can also auto-gen layer names. And that is true. We mentioned that earlier. And
Yes.
I think we won't go into that today, but hopefully there'll be another video on that soon.
Yes.
And welcome, Paloma. Hi, everyone. Lovely.
Are the best, yes. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm reading it.
It's my job. I will do that.
But yeah, so we'll go on to these ones. I want to show you this because I found this absolutely fascinating. So this is not there. I'll show you the original image. In fact, if we go to 5 boards, it'll be easy to show you. This was the original image. Okay, it was there, but I actually composited a full picture of the wine bottle in. So I knew exactly where I wanted the little balls to fall out of the wine bottle, but I couldn't quite get the wine bottle in the right position with the way that I was shooting it. So I knew that I'd be compositing this in later. I'd already got the whole composition pretty much spot on for what I wanted in camera, but I knew that the wine bottle needed a bit of well, I needed to add it in because I needed to expand the frame as well. So, composition-wise, hang on, if I just take this off. So this is the background. Pretty much that is the image that I started with, and then I composited that all out.
And I love that on that you also, for your composition, you're actually holding the ball.
Yeah, so if I just... Because I already knew that I wanted this to look a certain way, I thought I'm going to actually create this within camera. Like, that's why I held it. Ideally, in the future, I probably would hold it with, like, maybe, like, paint the things red. But in that point, I was just like, I just want to quickly get this shot.
But it's amazing that you're doing that and then you're harmonising the rest.
Yeah. Well, this is why... I know when I was in the studio, I was like, I'm going to have to harmonise this bottle because, for one, the bottle was actually... I'd spray painted it that morning and it was still wet. So when I was... and you could still see the label, and I was like, I just wanted it matte. So I knew that I'd have to do a bit of generative fill. So I think this is like the use case of what I would use this software for, like the AI, is obviously compositing out. The generative filling out all the like imperfections out on the wine bottle. But I will show you the wine bottle. So that was the original. Let me just go on this one actually. So this is the original picture.
You can see the label.
So you can see the label if you're a wine person. You like wine. You'll know which wine this is. But so I shot this outside as well. I was even challenging myself because I was like, I'm going to shoot this outside. It's going to be a really heavy edit. But it wasn't actually too bad. So in the end, if I just take that off, so I just quickly remove the background, and then I cleaned the bottle up by generative filling all of the face out.
That is amazing because I think that can be so difficult,
especially with the reflection.
Yeah,
it was actually amazing. I was quite impressed. I mean, I know. I've used generative fill for a long time now, but I was like, oh wow. And I think this is actually why I like doing this because it just excites me because I'm like, oh, is it going to work?
And it does.
Yeah. So I cleaned the bottle up and just took all the face off because there's a little face. I don't know if you can see that. Oh. And the label. I wish I'd had time, but in this case, I didn't have time to properly spray it 3 times and make sure it was all one colour. But yeah, use case, it shows you don't have to be perfect when you're shooting.
Save time and resources.
Exactly.
Harmonise. Yes.
So if I go back on to the other one. Oh, not that one. The champagne bottle. And so I brought the bottle in. So I've pretty much just brought this bottle in to the shop, and I thought, where do I want it? And I wanted it above there. I knew that I had a vision of like the ball like coming down like this, like a sort of like an SZ like shape. It's cascading. Yeah. So then I harmonised it. So I'm not going to press harmonise because I think we might have... In fact, let's just see. We're here, we might as well.
We're all together, it's fine.
We're all in this together.
Yes.
So, yeah, when I harmonised this bottle, it was quite a tricky one. And it did take probably about 4 or 5 different variations. But obviously you get 3 variations within that, each click. So we'll see what this one does.
I am on the edge of my seat.
Red wine.
Red.
Oh, it's got purple. So yeah, this one I thought was going to be quite a tricky one anyway.
Ooh.
But yeah, interesting.
Very interesting. Very different textures there.
Yeah, there's a lot of different textures.
You could definitely choose a different
But
vibe.
do you know what? That's now, because I think my next project might be purple. It's giving me like...
more inspiration.
Yeah. So I'm going to just go on the other harmonised one that I did. So this is actually, I mean, you can see there on my layers that I'm not lying. They are actually harmonised. But I picked this last one. So yeah, it shows you.
Paloma likes the purple tint.
Bring
back the purple tint for Paloma.
There we go.
Yeah.
But what I like about, again, the layers on harmonise is that you can click on the layer mask. And like I said, here, obviously this shadow is not quite hitting it for me. So you can just go in and remove you can remove the shadow.
Wow. See you later.
By shadow. And it does take me back. It's a bit nostalgic to when I was like creating shadows. But you can, just play around with it. And it doesn't destroy it. And you can add that back because obviously it's still there. It's all still there.
Yeah, like non-destructive layers, very important.
So if I go onto the bottle that I chose, I think I chose number 6 out of the 2. Yeah, so 2 harmonisations. These are the other bottles that we had. So some of them were, obviously it's trying to find the light within the image, which is up here somewhere. So probably thinks that this is quite a large, I don't know, it's making quite a large shadow there. So if I click on, I really liked this one. I thought it was
shiny.
it kept the light of the original one.
It's so interesting because that's like the focal point of the composition, and then it's been generated, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think as well, like it really nicely matched the light on this one, so I was quite happy with it. I did need to do a little bit of editing on the ball. Obviously, there's a little bit of glue there where it's stuck into the. And if I just show you before and after of that, I think I did take off this ball and just edit that on top. It'll make more sense when I show you the retouch there.
So you've made a new layer with the ball.
So I basically, exactly.
Amazing.
Pretty much made a new layer, added the ball again on top, edited out that glue, and then just fixed a little bit of the shadows. Oh.
You just never know. It looks so real.
Yeah, so, and then I refined, retouched, changed the colours a little bit, and then that was the end result.
Ina says, thank you for showing that you can edit what Harmonise has created as well.
That is something that I found really useful, especially for this image, because of the way that it was harmonising. I mean, obviously this is like producing random harmonisations, so you can get anything basically out of it. But depending on how hard, I'm speaking as if like, I feel like it depends how hard how hard is this Photoshop? Tell me how hard this is. Like, I feel like an upside down wine bottle is not necessarily naturally there. Do you know what I mean?
It's true. It's very, creativity has no limits. Think of the compositions and get them in there.
So,
I think.
Yeah.
We also had a question from Photomaker. Is Firefly boards accessible from inside Photoshop? And I can take that one if you like.
Yes, you can, yeah. I'll show you where Firefly boards are.
So Firefly boards are inside Create a Home, which is on the web. And right now you will be able to have unlimited generative prompts generations up until December 1st, so I would check it out. You can put Photoshop files in boards, and then even if you update the Photoshop file, it will update in the board as well.
Yes,
which I think
exciting actually. I've not used it that way yet.
So
but I'm
exciting.
Definitely gonna, because I think with the way that I was editing these, I kept, in fact, I should have known that whilst I was doing this, because of what I was doing was just quickly screenshotting it. That's really old school, I feel like, and just dropping it in. So when I was looking at them all together and I was making the edits, I kept
that is funny.
Yeah, so I probably should have had all the 3 PS files open, or sorry, dropped into Firefly boards, and then it would have just updated it.
There we go.
But I was just doing it very quickly. But yeah, exactly. Let's see what else. So let me just have a look. Yeah, so that is I think that was all 3 of them that I did. I actually shot, do you know what? We are promoting Harmonise, but I actually was intending on, what's it called? Using the knife, because the knife is actually shot outside. I actually shot this outside.
As the test.
Yeah, as a test. And I actually used Harmonise and it didn't quite work on it. But it made me think, like, you should just shoot it all anyway in, like, different lighting just to see. Like, that's how I was experimenting with this. Because I was surprised at how well this knife fitted in, even though that was shot outside.
Well, you'd never know. And it's all about what works for you, I think, within your creative process.
I think doing this helped me figure out how I might work in the future. And I loved doing a still life. I think I've not done a still life for years, and creating something like this was really like liberating for me, because I was like, this is actually helping me conceptualize the actual red project in the end. Because obviously I'm creating, let me just go back here. Yeah, so I've been creating obviously the big drips in the studio.
It's enormous drips.
And kind of not knowing where I want to go with the composition of it eventually. I've got like obviously the way that I shoot this with the style of the way that I am obviously in the frame. I kind of got a bit of a idea of the way that I might compositely shoot me within the frame of the red project, but I'm not 100% sure. So creating these made me think, I know that I might want to add in these like this balls, the shapes, and I've got some giant red forks, knife and fork and spoon. Yeah. So I'm gonna now. I absolutely loved this. The way that this was obviously sort of stabbing the ball, and I was like, that I feel like I need to have that in my final image. So doing something like this, playing around with the harmonise, playing around with the composition, without it actually being the final set, has really like. I'm just so excited now, because before I was a little bit like, oh, like where am I going to take this composition? Like what's the idea actually? Like how am I going to create this in the studio, the set? Whereas now I'm excited because I've done this.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, that's all because I wanted to play around with harmonise and see how I could composite things in.
And
because
you can.
I was just going to say with the orange set, obviously I had to most of this obviously is real. If you go on my Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, you'll see all the set builds, but obviously I couldn't shoot my arm up here at the same time as being in the image, so this had to be composited in. So most of it is real, but I do use AI, and now I'll be using harmonise in the future.
And that is something really that you emphasise so much. So obviously, Holly, a lot of your work is just, it's really built from scratch. And if you follow Holly and you see her YouTube or Instagram, you can see that everything is this just big, just very analogue process. Yes. And is that still as important to you now? What does that mean to you with harmonise?
Yeah, well, this project obviously started about 4 years ago, which was just slightly before I think the AI craze kind of came in. AI craze, can I call it that? The AI world revolution.
Yes.
So it kind of was like, I was already feeling like I was using Photoshop too much for my art. Because I'm not sure what happened with my brain, but I was like, I just want to get back to feeling because I used to paint when I started creating at school, and like that's kind of what I wanted to go down, like tangible art, sculpting, and then I got into photography and I realised how quick and easy it was, and then I started Photoshop, and then that took obviously like anywhere from 10 to 20 hours to edit, but I was like finding that I was sitting and staring at a screen for a long time. And I was like, I just want to be like making again. So that's when I started the green project, and it came from an idea.
I can zoom in on all these different projects. I'd be curious to see where you get your colour ideas from as well.
Well, they're pretty much, it's all come from like little chapters in my life. So every image has got a story of like what's sort of happening in my life at that point in time, and the ideas stem from something it's quite an emotional, personal project. But
and great comments coming in, great stuff, beautiful work. Hi Holly from Hannah Rafter. Oh, lovely, beautiful.
Hi Hannah.
That is great.
Someone's put is there anything else or just harmonise? But there is the generative AI. Let me just go on to a layer again. So you could obviously with the generative fill, you can change that. That's another thing that's new in Photoshop. Can you remember anything else that was new in Photoshop?
We've got the generative upscale.
Generative
for
upscale.
your images. Would you feel confident to do it? Or we can pop a link in.
Yeah, pop a link in because we've not got that much time left on here. But I feel like maybe let's have a look. Generative upscale has been amazing, I think, for especially when you're doing lots of generative fill. I'm going to just randomly put in, let's say, what should we put in here with the prompt?
Get some ideas in the chat. What should we put in here?
Let's say red. A butterfly has just popped into my head.
Let's go.
So we're just going to generate with Firefly Image 3. Fingers crossed.
Oh, we've got a question in the chat from Kane. So, do you ever print your own work? So obviously you're very digitally focused as well with the...
I have recently. So my idea for the whole... Because I've been focused on the building, the editing, the creating of this project, I've not really had time to sort of promote it in that I want it to be seen in galleries, and I would love to take this on a tour or something like that. So seeing it in print would be amazing. I did actually do the Creative Fest last week with Adobe, and we printed the artworks, and seeing them up like large, I was like, oh, it's so exciting.
Amazing.
So I do print them, so they will be tangible in my hands, so it's not just on a screen.
Somebody wants a red strawberry though. I feel like we should also add a red strawberry.
Okay, we'll just do the generative upscale. So I'm just putting the red butterfly, and if you click here, so on the variations panel here, if you click that, it's a generative enhancing detail. So this is a generative upscale feature. I don't know if you can see before. I'm going to have to just do it before. So it just creates that little bit more detail, but let me do a strawberry because would be better, wouldn't it? Why is a butterfly hanging around my food?
And you're
I'm going to do a floating strawberry.
That's what the people want. But yeah, I think the upscaling is...
image generative upscale.
There we go. But with the upscale, it is great because it means if you don't have a very high quality image, or you've taken it on a camera that doesn't have as much detail, then it's really great to be able to use that, up to really 4 times that amount.
Yes. So the image generative upscale, yeah. Okay. So yeah, that is another one that's new, I believe. I haven't actually had to use this, but just because I create all my images pretty much on my Sony camera, so it's very, very high quality anyway. Yeah. But yeah, the image generative upscale is there. So if you go to image generative upscale,
and then you
can do the Topaz Gigapixel, the Topaz Bloom, which is the partner models, or you've got the Firefly Upscaler.
It really depends on your preference.
Yeah, so if I needed to go from this, which is a very big, large image anyway, you can create it.
Get it on a billboard.
Yeah, get it on a billboard. But yeah, I've not had to do that just yet. But yeah, there's the generative upscale on image.
Oh, thank you so much for just winging that like that. And it's been so lovely to have you, to meet you.
Thank you.
It's been so great to hear about Harmonise, and how can everyone follow you?
So my Instagram, TikTok, we've gone red, is Holly Rose Stones on everything. Okay. And this is the red project.
And red on everything. Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone. Keep with the schedule. Bye.